Welcome to the second video of section 6.2, and we'll continue doing examples of our normal CDF. Let's take a look at example 8. An IQ is normally distributed with a mean of 100, standard deviation of 15, and suppose one individual is randomly chosen. Let's go ahead and set up this normal distribution. We have our normal distribution with a mean of 100 and a standard deviation of 15. Next, find the probability that the person has an IQ greater than 120, and then sketch the graph. We have a probability where we want to know that our randomly chosen person has an IQ greater than 120. So we would use our normal CDF here. We have a lower bound of 120 up to a very high number, or you can use 10 raised to the exponent of 99 with a mean of 100 and a standard deviation of 15. And that will give us about 0.0912, about 9%. Now, this might be a little bit tricky with the order I put these numbers in. So let's look at a graph. If we have our normal curve with our mean in the center, our data point would fall to the right of the mean. And we want to know the probability that this individual's IQ will be greater than 120, which means we would shade everything to the right of 120. So we're starting at 120, but then going on for infinity. Now this number certainly isn't infinity, but it's large enough to give us an extremely close approximation of the probability. In letter C, we're talking about Mensa, and this is an organization where the members have to be in the top 2% of all IQs. Find the minimum IQ needed to qualify for this organization. Okay, let's sketch the graph first, and then write the probability statement, and then solve. We know that to be in Mensa, you have to be in the top 2%, which means we need to find the data value that is the very minimum for the top 2%. Now again, we're given the percentage here. We have to find the data value. That means we have to use our inverse norm here. Now be careful, because when you do the inverse norm will give you everything to the left of the value you type into your calculator. So if we type this in right here as our 0.02, we would accidentally get the lower 0.02, 2% of our population. So this is tricky, but try to follow me here. If we need the top 2%, but our calculator will give us everything to the left, well, everything to the left is 98%, or 0.98. So what we can do here is use our inverse norm, and type in the 0.98, since our calculator gives us the values to the left, followed by our mean, and then our standard deviation. And then this will give us a value of about 130.81. Let's take a look at letter D. The middle 50% of IQs fall between what two values? Let's take a look at the graph before we answer this. So we have our normal distribution with a mean of 100, and we are looking for the two values that will hold our middle 50%. Since our inverse norm will only give us the area to the left of our x value, we have to use the inverse norm twice here. So let's take a look. The inverse norm will give us 25% to the left of A and the inverse norm will give us 75% to the left of B. Our inverse norm of our lower 25%, mean of 100, standard deviation of 15, gives us about 89.88. And our inverse norm of 75%, mean of 100, standard deviation of 15, will give us about 110.12. So that would mean the lower IQ would be 89.88. That would be our A value right here. And the upper IQ would be 110.12. And that's how we would find the 50% of the IQs that fall in the very middle. That is the end to our second video on section 6.2.